much for another captivating session. For the valedictory address, may I call upon Shri R. Shakya, the Additional DG, Haryana LSA, Department of Telecommunications, Government of India, along with Mr. Pavan Kapoor, Board Member, SIA-INDIA, for the closing remarks on the dais.
Good evening, friends. I understand you had been there for a very long day, but I'm sure it would have been very useful, fruitful, and it is going to add value in your routine requirements. In fact, in the current scenario, where the whole world is watching continuously news relating to the likely third war going to happen, or has it already started. At one side you have multiple nations supporting either this or that, mentally, sometimes maybe physically. Some of us may be aware, may not be aware. Some of the countries are providing material support. Some are providing economic support. Some are providing geographical support. So you really do not know in such scenario how a country shall prepare itself for today and tomorrow both. And in that light, if we consider the today's workshop going for the 3 days, I think it has the immense value. And it is the most opportune time to discuss about the communication. All of you agree with me? Whatever time had been there since the beginning of the history, the day human would have thought of living, the prime factor for winning anything is the communication. And that in the today's scenario, where the warfare is there in the space, it is there in the entire sea, oceans, as well as the ground. The dependence on satellite communication becomes much more higher. Earlier, the primary requirement was just to have satellites and the connectivity so you can get the right information, and that you will have the advantage of positioning yourself well. But I think scenario has changed. Now, even if you have thousands and thousands of satellites, but if they are not are able to provide you the robust, resilient, reliable communication at any given instant of time, probably those numbers are of no value. Initially, we were feeling that the CIA confidentiality, integrity, and availability are only the subject matter for the cyber world, relating to internet, nothing to do with the rest of the things. But today, CIA is as applicable to the satellite communication services for defense and otherwise as it is applicable to the internet. I was very happy to listen the earlier session, wherein certain issues had cropped up, and I'm sure working with you all, the country can come out with the reliable solutions and we can definitely meet out those challenges. And what are those challenges? First thing is, which I think all of us have to understand, satellites are not going to be there specifically only for the defense. Now, whatever technologies are getting developed, these are the technologies which are dual use technologies. So even if a satellite is filed in the ITU for the purpose of, say, mass communication or the broadcasting or for any other purpose, fact remains capability of satellite are there which can be used for the strategic purpose as well. So if somebody is believing that, A country is having only n number of the defense satellites and the remaining are only, say, general purpose satellites, probably we are wrong. We have to understand whatever capability any country, whether they are our beloved neighbors or otherwise, friends, unfriends, whatever category you put them in, fact remains they are capable of making use, misuse, whatever term we want to put to them. They have this capacity against us in case of the need. So that strength has to be taken care. Second part is whether I am able to track all the possible satellites in the sky which can hamper my work progress, my defense systems, my communication systems. I think detection and continuously monitoring the other satellites is as important as having our own satellites. Probably this requirement was earlier not having that priority. And it becomes more challenging. Why more challenging? Because once we talk of the GSO, people feel, 3 satellites are enough. If somebody has put 100, he feels he's out of the world. And monitoring 100 satellites is much easier. Now the difficulty is when it comes to the case to the LEOs, a single operator is filing 10,000 plus satellite filings, and they have the satellite, say, at every 100 meters or 200 meters, putting all the operators together. So monitoring LEO satellites is very, very challenging. And fortunately and unfortunately, that kind of the reliable resources to monitor LEOs are yet to see the days. Some countries do have the capabilities. How much they will share, how much capabilities we are having, these are the issues for all of us to basically take forward and decide that we have to have a robust mechanism of the monitoring, irrespective in which orbit the satellites are there. And next thing comes to that is how to take care of those things in terms of misuse by them. Do I have the preparedness to meet out if somebody is targeting to destroy my satellite itself? Yes, we had the limited capabilities in terms of the payloads available thereon, or the overall body of the satellite is not designed to reflect back and take care of any kind of the attack. So, the moment I detect something, I will shift by 3 degrees. That kind of the network design had not been there so far. That if anybody is aiming and I get a signal that, this is likely to happen, even if satellite unit knows that something wrong is going to be there, there is no intelligence, or probably we need to use some other intelligence of the TTC to relocate the satellite, so probably I can save myself from the any kind of the attacks in the orbit itself by the destroy kind of the attempt by any country. So that is, I think, the new phase wherein the country has to go. And I'm really happy to validate the session in the context that there is a new year, 2025, and there is a new thought that probably defense satellite is something, a different need. And the title was really very, very fascinating, or I said the most requisite one, partnership, right? I think this is the need. No specific government entity, be it ISRO, be it DOT, be it some other, no private specific company, no institution, no R&D institution, no standardization institution can achieve what a country need. So the partnership is the need of the day, because it needs huge money in terms of the expenditure. You should have the very well designed revenue models. You should know the users before launching. It shall not happen that out of the 20 years age, 7 to 8 years age goes, just to find out who are the users, and by the time we get 70 to 80% of the loading, half lifetime of the satellite is already gone. So if we have the proper partnership, starting from the design, whatever things are happening can be very well addressed there too. Today's sessions under the different headings had been very relevant in this respect, whether it is relating to the session on say strengthening satellite communications. So it is not only the geo-based or the LEO-based or MEO-based. I think now what we need is all of them together. And not only that, in terms of the different bands also, probably we need to rethink whether the X is adequate, C is adequate, Ka, KU adequate, or a same satellite can have the multiple bands, and how the different earth stations can be put there too. We do talk of the ISLs. I think that is, again, the experts may debate that the ISL is one of the technologies, may be favoring to one kind of the set of the design, whereas the others do not require ISL. But whether I call it ISL or not, but I need to have something that in case my satellite goes out of order by any chance, I should be able to provide the same services from either the same orbit, other orbit, or from the different satellite, different bands. That is what the designers have to think. As the user is concerned, there has to be consistent requirement of the information availability. Because even if we have the lakhs of the people moving on the ground, we know one small weapon can entirely damage your strategic preparations. So you can't allow the people to misuse their satellite capabilities against ours. So in that scenario, similarly, whatever my satellite capabilities are there, I don't want to lose the opportunity of mapping the rest of the world where I am not able to use if they damage any of my assets. So I think that kind of requirement has to come. Then it is not only the say like strategies relating to the intelligence and others, but we have to have the specialized skill set even for the satellite defense, maintenance, operation, that kind of things. And there again you need to have the partnerships. It cannot be just the defense units who can do everything by their own, because the technologies, by the time the defense units adopt, they get further change. Because this is the time where I think we used to say that earlier the technology is changing in 10 years or so. So they have the lifetime of at least 10 years. Now that 10 years has gone to 10 months. You do not know what, by the time we actually commission one system, you find that it gets outdated, something else had come. So the skilling is, again, very important, which has been discussed today. And one suggestion I have got to the organizers as well as the whole team. The title name was Promoting Cybersecurity in the Indian Defense Military. Probably, I would request with my bottom of heart that promoting is not adequate word. We have to adopt it. Promoting is something, okay, you will start today, it will happen tomorrow and this thing. If cybersecurity of the satellite systems is not taken care, believe me, none of our satellite communication is going to work at the time of need. If today RASA is having some problem, it is because cyber security issues. On the other side, they have got the opponent who has got the support from the best of the technologies available. So the movements of RASA are visible to the Ukraine at any given point of the time. Same is not available, vice versa. And that's the reason a small country is able to fight more than 2 years war. So cyber security is as important as the defense forces itself. So please take care of that, and the resilience should be put in the similar spirit. So I think these are certain observations. Research together is, I think, wonderful talk. I hope the whole government will take care of that and go in that direction. Right. I'm also happy to see that the speakers had been there all across the industry, from the defense forces itself, from the manufacturers, from the ISRO, even from the INSpace, and also I think the whole credit goes to the organizers who had done. And I should thank all of them to have putting these great brains together and providing this opportunity to talk on the subject and making the country proud and take care of the future, which is, I'm 100% sure, is in the safe hands of the people, brilliant minds sitting in the hall, as well as in their enterprises who are going to take care of our space requirements. So I think my request would be again same. I would like to conclude with 3-4 sentences. That one is, the satellite communication is dual-used communication. It is no more normal communication and the defense communication. Please take care of that. Second part is, cyber security is not mere applicable to the internet, but is an integral part of any kind of, say, communication, be it satellite, submarine, anything. So that is the key. And third thing is, collaboration should be in such a manner that your delivery has to be faster than what you initially planned. So you can't wait that, okay, I have a project for 4 years, please forget. You don't have 4 years now. So plan your project in that directions. And relating to the filing of the satellites, since the discussion came in the earlier session, as far geo-satellite filing are concerned, there are very stringent norms of the ITU. Since I am part of that, and some of you maybe here, I had been the senior advisor to the International Telecommunications Union itself. The thing is, if you are not able to launch your satellite within 7 days, 7 years of the filing, you have the serious concerns, not only losing those slots, but even having the claims on the other filings, right? So it's easy to say that, okay, India can have, say, 100,000 of the filings, but the thing is, I have to defend that 100,000 filings. Another thing is, nowadays the priority is given to the nations who do not have the filings, instead of the countries which are already having the multiple satellites in the orbit. So now we have to strategically decide, along with the Ministry of External Affairs, which probably may be there in the capacity of this hall or may not be there, I'm not sure. But organizers can take care. Whenever you plan next seminar, kindly involve the Ministry of External Affairs also. Because if you have the satellite filings, it is not going to be there on the Indian names. It has to be there on the name of the friendly nations. And primarily you can use their satellites as far as GEO is concerned. LEO, yes, since there is not a strict, guidelines for the filings, it's easier possible that you can file hundreds of thousands of. So LEO is not a big concern. MEO is also comparatively less concerned, but GEO is definitely a concern. You cannot have the filings without having the proper friendships filed through them. Although we have the policy wherein the INSpace is allowed to use this and that, but there are international constraints in terms of using that policy in the given framework of the ITU for filing the orbital slots. So many times we may feel something better, but that betterment goes null because the environment is not going to be that better. Like one may look very handsome in a suit which is not cozy for the winter. So looking handsome is nice, but the moment you go out in the environment and feel 2 degree or 4 degree of the temperature, your suit is not going to work, you are going to have the issues. Same thing is like the policy of the orbital usage. In our case, probably we have to rework out thereon that how it can get aligned with the ITU, because ultimately orbital slots means ITU. We do not have any other choice. And another thing with all my great friends here, probably ITU is going to have 2026 elections wherein the vacancy of the director BR, which is the Radio Communication Bureau, who is responsible for the filings and all on the radio communication side, is going to fall. India may consider to have their candidate for the BR, and unless we have the 1 year plus margin with us to have the proper canvassing, because the vote comes from the each country and the 194 countries are the voters. So it's not that the small country is having the less weight or the big country is having the major weight. The counting will come from the 194 countries. So we have to work together, and then what could be the strategies going on there? You will have the first-hand information, you will get direct information which can help us in preparing the country for the tomorrow, as the Prime Minister's vision is there to have Bikasit Bharat in 2047. That is possible when we have the placements of the Indians at all possible places who have the first-hand information for the resilience of the entire world, wherein our country is as well included. Safety, security will come when you have your voice out at the right time and the right place. I think this is what I would like to say from this session. And my friend is there who will be giving you the details. And so I hand over the mic to Mr. Pavan.
Can you hear? Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Mr. Shakya. Wonderful. So it is covering what I would say in my closing remarks. I will first cover what you have said is, which was also by the panelists, the expert panelists who spoke on that, the security system. So one of the panelists had spoken about multi-layer system, that LEO, GEO, MEO should be there, that in case one gets destroyed, the other layer will be available. Secondly, we have to be very careful in providing what, again, one of the panelists said, that if the spectrum frequency is detected, they can target and they can hit the satellite. So how we are going to safeguard that? And in case we have to destroy somebody else's satellite, which is also very important, then how we detect the spectrum frequency at what it's working. So this is one of the precisions, area which was covered during the panel discussions. Other area which was highlighted was the cyber threat. And the cyber threat is, it is a combination where there is a huge human-machine interface between AI, ML, sensors, and so on. That was spoken during the discussions, where that interface, how it can be to the benefit of the technology we adopt and accept. Then one of the panelists said that it starts with cooperation, then it starts with cooperation, then it's competition, and then conflict. Now, when there is a collaboration, earlier it is a cooperation, then it is a competition and conflict. For that reason, the panelists had spoken that we should have a very strong IPR system of our own, so that and rightly said, the time taken to come out with the concepts which we have in our technology to be put into the space arena has to be very short. And for that, we have to have technological capabilities. And this is a new industry, which General Pannu said, which is rightly said. And it's updating very quickly. What it was in January 2024 is radically changed in 2025. And next year when we sit, and certainly we are going to be sitting with Mr. Shakya also, who has got this immense knowledge in this direction, it's going to be much more different. So taking from what you said, I thought what an important subject you covered, and the panelists had covered that too. Then it comes to, again, it's linked to what you said, the standardization. So there was a very interesting discussion on standardization, which is required, that we have to adopt a system of validation, verification, certification. Documents have to be made very accurately, and there are 5 bodies currently which are there, but how they can be integrated. And there are other sub-bodies who are doing that, how it can be integrated. So they are preparing a software on that. And excellent point came over there, how to reduce the time of bringing in the product or technology on the platter. Design and testing. The design has to be perfect, so that testing time is very low. What is happening is, what the panelists said, that if the design is faulty, the testing goes against the compliance, it goes back to design, and the time span increases. So if the design is correct, the testing time would be less, and that will come into the commercial operation or military operation. So these were some factors which were spoken on. And then Dr. Rao said, which rightly said in the inaugural session, very key, that the government of India is promoting space domain. They're increasing their defense expenditure in this domain, land, sea, and air. This is becoming integrated. And I think General Pannu, when we have been discussing how the integration is taking place in the armed forces also. Because now space is not just space, it covers land, sea, and air. So these were the few areas which was covered, which I am in summarizing. And I have taken from Mr. Shakya, who pointed out one of the most important factors is the security where we stand. And let me assure what I would say, the audience who have been associated with SI, and you have to tell that further too. SI is a think tank and a bridge between all the sectors involved in this, whether it is government, regulatory, industry, R&D centers, technical institutes, media, analysts, investors, startups. SI is in touch with all, and it brings in what I would say the knowledge domain to give consultative papers to the right sources, whether it is private sector or it is the public sector or the government. So this is SIs which is building up this expertise. And that is thanks to your collaboration, who are attending with us and who remained in touch with us. And this is where in this domain, we want to increase our, what I would say, interaction and have more members together to make this space domain completely successful with India brand ahead. And lastly, what I want to say is, there has been a lot of learning which was told by the panelists. That is the Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Middle East. Offense and defense. For offense, we required very strong defense. And that has been proven in that war, in both the areas. And this is a new what I would say finding, that how important defense is also, rather than just offense. So with this, I really thank everyone. And it has been a very engrossing session today. And it will continue to be tomorrow and day after. And on behalf of SI, what I have to say is, we are looking forward to many more collaborations with the industry, and all what I would say bodies connected to satellite or space domain. And with this, I thank everybody for having attended, what I would say so enthusiastically. There were questions, there were answers, experts amongst audience who were asking very penetrating questions, and the panelists had to think while replying. So this was a wonderful session. And I'm sure it'll continue tomorrow and day after, where we have got very interesting subjects to speak on. And lastly, where I want to say a Happy New Year to all for a gorgeous 2025. Gorgeous means fun-filled. And where it takes India to a domain where it is respected and regarded for its technology and space, and the new emerging space domain where we are spoken about in the globe. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We can have a picture as well, both of you can stand. I second Mr. Pawan Kapoor's word. We really had an engrossing and insightful session. But tomorrow will be even more exciting in the auspicious presence of Lieutenant General Retired Gurmeet Singh, PVSM, UYSM, AVSM, VSM, Honorable Governor of Uttarakhand. So see you all tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. sharp in the same hall. Have a great evening. Thank you.